Good morning, everybody. Let us welcome the skippers for the Volvo Ocean Race 2017-18. They're on their way. There we go. Brad Jackson, Team Axo Nobel. Charles Caudrelier, Dongfeng Race Team. Xavi Fernandez, Team Mapfre. T. Kafari, Turn the Tide on Plastic. Charlie Enright, Vestas 11th Hour Racing. David Wick, Sunghum Kai Scallywag. And Bauer Becking, Team Brunel. We're going to start with a couple of questions and then we'll take questions from the media. Charles, the Dongfeng Race Team. You had an amazing challenge in the last edition of the race. Your sponsor is back with greater commitment. Can you tell us what you've done to strengthen the team?
You can hear me? Yeah. What changed a lot is we start the project at the same moment in February. But last time when we start, we were in China, meeting 20 Chinese sailors who have never spent a night offshore and try to find 4 of them and then try to teach them how to sail on this kind of boat. And this time we start in February in Lisbon, and with the team I already know, shore crew, everybody, and since the beginning we are 100% focused on the performance, where last time we spent maybe 4 months to do the school and come back from China, which was complicated to sail over there, and so that make a big change, of course.
And last time you won the race, you won as a crew. This time, as with the last edition, your skipper. What's the difference?
The salary. And
for the good of the bad. I was hoping for better info than that.
The responsibility, of course. I mean, when I did the Volvo on Groupama, I think when I arrived at the stopover, my mind was completely off, and I was not thinking about the next one until the next one start. And this time, during 9 months, you never stop. You will still have a pressure. You arrive, and a few hours before, you're already thinking how to do better or to change something. So it never stops. It's a big pressure, but I like it, and I have a strong team around me. So I'm a lucky skipper, I think.
Very good. Okay, next to Charlie Enright, Vestas 11th Hour Racing. Charlie, you were a young, fresh team in the last edition. Now you move on with more experience, a little older in body and mind. Does this race take it out of you? And just tell us what your goals are for this edition.
Looking around, I think maybe we're still a young team, still a young and fresh team. But we got Bowie on Instagram over there, so. Yeah, I mean, the last race, that was kind of our thing. You know, we were a younger, more inexperienced team, and, you know, having been around the planet now once, you know, we've logged a lot of miles, some of us together. We've added some faces with a lot of experience. You know, I think for us, it's going to be working together as a team. You know, we've certainly surrounded ourselves with the people that we like and we think are strong, but we're a little late in the piece, so we're still trying to figure out the onboard dynamic. You know, we showed a lot of improvement in the last race from when we started here in Alicante to when we crossed the finish line in Gothenburg, and we want to keep that trajectory. So that's our goal. You know, we won the last leg of the last race, so looking to do the same here into Lisbon. We want to show signs of regression, so that's our goal.
Great. Brad Jackson, skipper of Axo Nobel. I'm sure these aren't the circumstances that you would have ideally liked to be here, but just tell us, give us a little insight into what's going on and how the team feel back at base.
Yeah, well, no, you're right. But team-wise, we're just focusing on the race. You know, basically, we have the same team as we had before, except Simeon, but it's thanks to him that we have the team that we've got already. And so not too much has changed in the how we're going to work on board or crew morale or anything like that. So we're just, you know, we've had a few days of, not sure what's going on, and now we're the last few days we're about to focus on what we're here to do to do the race.
Great. Today you've announced a new crew member in Roan Kirby. Just talk to us about the addition to your team there. Certainly it'll help your support sailing into Newport, Rhode Island, I suspect.
Yeah, for sure. We were lucky. We were lucky that Roan was available and qualified and ready to go, thanks to Charlie. So we borrowed him, but he's another under 30 that we have on the team. So that brings us up to 5 at the moment. It's a young team, but Rome's he's done the race before with me on Puma, and he's got a lot of experience for a young guy. So he's a good fast sailor.
Excellent. Thank you, Brad Jackson from Axo Nobel. Next up to Dee Kafari, Turn the Tide on Plastic. Dee, I've got so many questions for you. I don't know where to start, but we're going to just choose one of them, which is that you've sailed around the world on your own 3 times, twice in different directions. What happened with the Volvo Ocean Race? Did you get lonely and you wanted some friends on board?
It is nice to do it with friends. It makes a big difference when you've got people to share it with. And when things go bad, you've got extra pairs of hands to throw at it. And I like the difference with the Volvo Ocean Race is the intensity you race at. And that's the thing that gave me the buzz and made me want to come back into a team environment where the boat's pushing at 100% all the time. Even if you're down below, you know that the guys on deck are still pushing hard. And your peers around you, they punish any mistake a boat makes. So that pressure's on, and that intensity is what makes the Volvo Ocean Race for us and makes me want to come back.
Excellent. And where do you see your opportunities around the race course?
Well, everyone talks about Turn the Tide on Plastic being an inexperienced team, and they're inexperienced with regards to the Volvo Ocean Race. A lot of my sailors are first time into this arena, but they're very skilled sailors. They can make a boat go fast. We just need to not make any mistakes and make sure we go the right way. And then we'll be keeping an eye on these guys and obviously learning from their experience and trying to punish any mistakes they make.
And in a previous life you were a teacher, you're now skipper of this boat, you've got a lot of young people on board. Just tell us about the responsibility on your shoulders.
Well, to step up and be a skipper for the first time in this arena is a huge responsibility, and probably more nervous about sitting here with these guys alongside me than doing the race. But it's to create an opportunity where young sailors, male and female, get the opportunity to step up to the Volvo Ocean Race and see them grow and blossom before me every day that we're sailing on the water is amazing. It's quite a privilege. And it's great to be given this opportunity to share and also spread a really good sustainability message as well.
Great. Next, David Witts and Hunkai Scallywag. David, what motivated you to enter this race and be here?
It's the best team sport in the world, I think. I got a really good commercial opportunity from Volvo, for Sun Hunkai to be involved, and I couldn't find a better way to lose weight.
So you've got the youngest sailor on board and one of the most experienced navigators on board. Just tell us a little bit about the makeup of your team with a lot of successful history in your 100-foot maxi.
Well, as been recorded, I'm a lunatic, which is good because we're all lunatics together. The young kids started sailing dinghies, worked for me for 3 years and ended up here, so he still doesn't, he thinks he's dreaming. And Halsey can be the most positive and the most negative person in the same conversation, the same breath. So I'm looking forward to 45,000 miles of that. So.
And you just touched on madness. How crazy do you have to be to do this race, and why?
I'm finding it harder to stay on the shore and stay out of trouble at the moment, to be honest. But I think as long as you've got good people around you, the same as anything, it's not really. Went to the safety courses. More safe on this boat than any other boats I've ever sailed on. I've got that much equipment I don't know how to use half of it.
Great, well let's hope you never have to. Next up we'll go to Xabi Fernandez, Team Mapfre. Xabi, you've had a great run in Leg Zero, the prologue, and winning both warm-up events. Sailing media and world media have you currently as the favourite. Do you feel like the favourite?
Well, for us, it's not a matter of being favored or not. It's not a thing we talk in the team, but of course we realize that people think we are, and this only makes me think that we may be well ready, no? And I think it's a good thing. It's not like making us feel anything different. that we have to do something now. We have some more obligations. We have to sail as best as we can, and I think we are ready. And you know, I know these guys are going to be ready as well. But you know, I think we have ticked most of the boxes, and we are pretty happy.
Spain has a long history in the race. This is the 10th team entering the race, never won. Is this the moment?
Well, hopefully, I don't know. We were close before as well, and then didn't happen. So I don't know. We know how long and how difficult it is to win this race, and it's no rush.
Okay, well, I have a very similar question for our next skipper, Bauer Becking from Team Brunel. 7 times you've done this race. Is this the one you're going to win?
Of course, we're aiming for that win. That's, I think, for everybody sitting over here. You're a competitor, you're a sportsman or sportswoman, and when you're competing, you want to win. So, of course, even that we were late on the table, I think we have a very good crack of winning this edition.
Okay, just tell us a little bit about how you've changed your team makeup. You've got a combination of youth and experience.
Yeah, because we were late at the table, it was actually a very good opportunity because the America's Cup was just finished. I was actually racing on a J-class in the event over there and bumped into Carlo Huisman, a Dutch guy sailing on Team New Zealand. For him, I got in contact with Pete Burling. And even though I think probably other teams had approached Pete, I had a very good chat with him. And the next thing I knew, I had the golden boy on the team. And that's, of course, he won the Olympics. He just won the America's Cup. So, yeah, all of a sudden you got a complete new blood in the team. And as well, we got the loser of the America's Cup, Carl Langford. He won it as well twice, so don't forget that. But I think it's just the team is quite different as last times because we've got America's Cup sailors on the team who just approach, I think, a Volvo Ocean Race completely different than us. And that's, as I say, the old school guys, because they have a different type of intensity. They're really looking at all the performance. And I think the good thing with all the people who we actually have, they're all thinking and they're all in the team briefs, put ideas forward. We discuss them, execute them, or we just blow them off the table because it's impossible. And I think that's the good thing what we have with this group of people. Even if we haven't been sailing a lot, even like last weekend in the practice race was the first time we actually sailed with 9 people. And that just shows, because a lot of people had commitments, but I think the caliber of people that we have, I think we can sail the boat fast. And not to forget, you've got Andrew Cape.
You got Capey on board. Well, that'll help you for sure. He's the navigator. And just talk to us about why you come back to this race, your 8th time. As David said, are you mad or crazy or all of those?
Oh, I think I'm quite sensible because it's the best thing you can do. Huh? If you're just sitting all over here, just writing and typing, I can be on the ocean, and that's what I love. And and then together with a team of people, I would never go by myself. I just when I look at Dee, I cannot imagine how she sometimes has pulled it off to go through a big storm just by herself. I like to do that with a team, and of course, it's still one of these things. I like to win this race.
Great. Okay. Well, we're going to push it out to some of the media. So questions. Put your hand up. We've got the microphones. We'll come to you as soon as you're ready. So we'll take some questions. Go ahead, sir, in the orange hat and sunglasses. We've got Amy here with the microphone. We'll come right over to you there. If we could just clear the walkway a little. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Rose from Danish media. What do you think, Guy thinks about that there are more women in the race this time?
Danish media, well, we'll take Bauer, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, Truls. I'm going to do it in English so everybody can understand. I think it's great for sailing in general, but everybody probably knew my view. I think it would have been still very nice if we could just have chosen my own team. But as soon as the rules came out, I said straight away, we have to have 2 girls on board because otherwise I'm shooting myself in the foot. And I think the great thing is as well is that all the guys on our team have embraced the girls. They've got responsible jobs as well. I think we've got the 2 best girls who we actually could get. Annie Lush and Abby Ehler. Abby is our boat captain, and Annie is actually running the sail department. So they have responsibility. They're great sailors, and it's just a matter of just gelling over the period of time. And so far, we're looking strong.
We'll get Dee to weigh in on this as our final comment. I'm sure you've got something to say about it.
Well, no, I think it's really good, and I would hazard a guess that those that were maybe reluctant when the rule was first announced have now tried sailing mixed and realised it's not that bad, and hopefully these are massive influences in the world of sailing, and if they say it's not so bad, hopefully others will move forwards and agree and sail mixed. I'd rather it be sailors for their ability rather than gender-led discussions.
Okay, and we'll just get Xavi to speak to that because you've got a gold medal winner on board and a very famous sailor in Tamara Echegoyen. Must be great for you, and just talk to us about that.
Yes, it is. Again, I guess like Bauer at the beginning, the new rules they are always scary to make changes. But well, we did a little bit of trialing some people, and you know we have Sophie, which sailed with you guys in SCA last time, and of course she knows the boat. She's strong. She does the bow, and she's very complete offshore sailor. And then we really tried Tamara very hard because she's very talented, very hard worker, and coming from the Olympics, just she won gold in London and just lost the medal in Rio. But you know, it was harder for her. But I'm very, very pleased that she's improved a lot and she's one of us now.
Okay, well, we'll just take a word from Charlie. This all seems to be going well. Charlie, give us your input into this.
I was excited to see the rule change, certainly. I think the Volvo Ocean Race organization went about it in the right way, which was to incentivize gender participation as opposed to mandate. And, you know, we did 2 transatlantics early on where we, you know, trialed a number of female sailors, and it was glaringly apparent that it was going to be a competitive advantage. We have a little bit of a squad system on our team. We have 2 under 30 sailors. We have Jana Hansen, who just won the 49er FX Worlds. Hannah Diamond from the UK, and then we have a very experienced veteran female sailor in Stacey Jackson, who went around with Dee last time. So on the boat, we don't really notice a difference. You know, sailors are sailors, but you know, on land, it's a little different sometimes. But we figure it out.
Okay, well, I think we'll on that lovely note, we'll move on. Next question, please. Who we got here? Yes, sir, in the middle. With the white shirt, right, just here in the middle. Thank you, white shirt. And if you just as the question's going on, we'll have another question. Hand up if you want to go, and we'll queue you up and get the mic to you for the next question while this one is going on. Go ahead, sir.
Just a question for David Witt, the skipper of Sonhonkai Scallywag. You're sailing with less crew members than the rest of the boats. Can you just talk us through the performance advantage that you're hoping for?
Because we've always had girls on our team for the last 15 years, so we're probably advantaged everyone else as far as mixed teams go. But Steve and I have done some math, and originally we wanted to sail with as minimum as we could. We think the boats are quite slow and underpowered compared to what they should be. And we think a lot of the marginal planning conditions, the lighter you are, we're going to be better. There's times where we're going to be slower being lighter, reaching. But we think overall we're going to have an advantage being lighter, and the crew's the only choice we got in the race. We've decided to go with 8 instead of 7, simply so I can give Steve a bit more support downstairs, because it is quite tough. Sailing the boat, we didn't find it that hard, but actually, you know, being able to fill more than one role was quite hard. So we've got Anamika, who sailed with us before, who's another lunatic, which is perfect.
She's Dutch, mate.
I know. Do you know my grandmother's Dutch? Didn't know that, did you?
That's why we shoved her off to the way.
That's right. So we think there might be an advantage there. We're not rotating crew. I think this is a bit of a dream for me to have my own team, and it's certainly a dream for everyone in our team to be doing the race. And we don't want to rotate anyone. We want to give everyone an opportunity to do every leg together as a tight unit that we are.
Okay, great. Thank you. We've sort of wandered into the last question, repeated. In the front here, just wait for the mic. And we're just taking a few pauses in between for Spanish translation as well. So for those of you with the earpieces, we're just going to pause after each of the questions.
Charlie, for you. The last time you were a rookie team, and you spoke a lot about the fact that you had no egos on board, that it was very collaborative. You've gone from a young rookie team to one with a lot more experience than you had last time. What led to your change of trajectory in the way that you put your team together, and what makes this team different from last time?
You know, last race we had some success, but, you know, there's also a lot of things that we did wrong, you know, that we were looking to change. And, you know, some of that was on the race course, and some of that was potentially in the crew composition itself. So we felt the need to surround ourselves with more experience, and the dynamic, the working environment that we have on board is very inclusive and participatory. We'd like to think that everyone's opinion is certainly valued, but at the end of the day, it's up to the management team, Mark and myself, to sort through those opinions and do what we think is best for the team. Being able to share that responsibility on board with someone like Mark is very important, because there are a lot of experienced folks on our team now, a lot of former race winners, but my trust in him and his contribution to the situation is really what kind of helps us get through it. So we still approach things the same way, even though the players are different. Nobody enters a race to get fourth place, and that's where that's what we finished last time. So we're looking to improve upon that. But although there's new faces, we like to think that we approach it the same way, and hopefully the onboard working dynamic can continue to be a strength.
Okay, great. Down here on the front row, so third from left.
Hi, this is Shayan Acharya. I'm from India, sports star.
Pause
just
one
wanted
second.
to know one question. Is that you just said, Charlie just said that for the women sailors it'll be difficult because it's their land, and so I want to know, now that you're bracing up for the first, the season, what are the challenges that you're getting up? Because it's as a woman sailor, what are the challenges that they'll be facing?
I don't really know any challenges. I don't know. It's what I do, so I don't really have a hard time doing it. My team's mixed and they've been sailing and there's no difference between the guys and the girls. I don't know what issues Charlie has ashore with his team. But I don't seem to have any issues ashore or afloat. So maybe we'll find out what they get up to ashore. I don't know.
Okay, next question, please. Yes, sir. Grey shirt just on the right-hand side here. Amy will be over.
From a Dutch point of view, what are your thoughts now already by the finish in The Hague, the ultimate destination?
Okay, we'll go to Brad.
Yeah,
Brad
from
Jackson.
a Dutch point of view. Our home port is The Hague. We have a Dutch flag on the back of the boat, so we're going to be pretty excited to finish in The Hague and hopefully with a good result. But we're a very international team anyway. AkzoNobel's a Dutch company, but it's a very global company. So, we're very international at the moment.
Okay, and we'll also take this question to Bauer because
he might have.
It was clearly a great pit stop in the last edition, and you've had one of your team as the ambassador for The Hague, and they won the finish. Just talk to us about that.
Yeah, I think just if we go back to the last race, when Brunel came in on the table for entering the race, they said we want to have a stop. And then they put The Hague forward. And of course, the good thing was Volvo said first, no, we can't do it. Then they realized, okay, we have to give something because Brunel played hardball. We had the pit stop, and I think the pit stop, just all the sailors who did the race, they could just see what a fantastic event it was. And I think Volvo realized it as well. I think in 2 days there was as much as some of the stopovers, 14. Yeah, we had 14 days, and the amount of public what there was. And when The Hague pitched for the finish, of course, was for us Dutch was fantastic. Even that AkzoNobel made an early announcement, it was still good for us to pitch around and look and say we have at least a fantastic corporate event as well. And of course, having the finish there, hopefully we have one of the Dutch two boats on the highest step of the Baudet. So that was, of course, the aim.
Well, good luck, and everyone, I'm sure, is looking forward to it. Yes, here, Diggers on the right.
A very simple question. In the museum, we're in the museum, but there's a good map. 1973, the race was 27,000 miles, and now I think it's around 45,000 miles or something like that. It's long, it's much further. I wonder if Bowie, having done 7 of these races, and perhaps pass on to somebody else while you're talking, what do you think of the longer course, much more ocean in this race?
I think it's great. It's, like I said, I love the ocean, but I think as well the whole race has changed. In the beginning, when I did my first one, we had 4 legs, and there was no communication, there was nothing going on, and we just know the corporate side is so important right now. So it's a great opportunity to have more stopovers. And you have to remember as well that these boats nearly go double speed than when I did my first round the world race. I think the first round the world race we averaged 7.8. So that's less than 200 miles a day what you do in distances. And today with these boats, it's hey, you have 12 knots of breeze, you do 340 miles. So in that sense, the timing is probably roughly the same. Just we say, well, we travel a little longer and see more great harvests.
Charles, do you want to just speak to that as a Frenchman who does a lot of sailing around the world again and again? A long course, are you happy with the long course?
I'm happy that the leg don't go sailing in the light spot like last time when we go in the south, for sure. But it's longer, but it's in terms of time, it's the same, I think. Yes, it's a good. I like the new course.
And just talk to us about what it is actually like to sail in the Southern Ocean.
I don't, but it's a different place from everywhere. I think this is the only place where when I'm sailing, I sometimes stop racing just because it's dangerous. And you know, if something happens, you are alone. You can't eventually on the other boat, but nobody can come. That's really different, I think. After this is the same wind, the same wave, but you can't have a problem over there for sure. Depends. No, depends where you sail.
They're from Brittany. They know the cold. Charlie, when the boats are in the Southern Ocean, you've got some environmental work to do as well. You want to just speak to us about some of that we heard about at the Ocean Summit a couple of days ago? A great innovation.
Yeah, when we're doing the the Southern Ocean leg, we go to places in the world that not a lot of other people get to travel to. So we'll be carrying drifters as we did in the last race, and at a particular line of longitude. We'll put those drifters in the water, and they're very important for data collection, sea surface temperature, currents. So there's a lot of things that they can monitor, and we're really looking forward to getting the sailors the feedback this time around. Last time I think we all chucked these things in the water, and then we didn't hear from them again. So it's one of the goals of our team to make sure that there's follow-up there, and that we have the information, and we're aware of what we're doing and how it all works.
Great. Okay, we've got time for just a couple more.
This is a question for Brad Jackson. Obviously, you're a bit of a veteran of the Volvo Ocean Race, but you've never been skipper before. Obviously, the circumstances aren't what you planned, but I wonder, was there ever a moment in your Volvo Ocean Race history where you dreamed of becoming skipper, or are you sort of in this role because it's necessary?
Yeah, I'm in this role at the moment because it's necessary for sure. It hasn't been a dream of mine to be a skipper for sure, but it's it's not something I've needed to be or had to do to finish my Volvo career, if you like. It's a situation that's arisen, and I'm happy to take it on. I wouldn't do it unless I thought I had the full support of my team, the sailing crew, the shore team, the sponsor. So it was a pretty open discussion on that side of things. So unless I knew if I had that support, I was comfortable to do it. So, but yeah, it's I hope I enjoy it, and I hope it goes well. But it's not something I've been pushing for, or I wasn't jumping around, pick me, sort of thing. But that's the way I do the race normally.
Brad, you've won the race with legends that we can see around the museum, like Mike Sanderson, Torben Grail, and you've sailed with people like Kenny Reid. What have you learned from those skippers that is going to bring, that you're going to share with your crew and team?
I think, all those guys are very different type of skippers for sure, very different sailors. I think I'll just try and take, all the bits and pieces I can from all of them. I'm going to do what I do on the boat. I don't see me changing how I work on the boat just because I'm skipper now. So, I plan on being full on sailing the boat, and between Jocker and myself, we'll help Jules out, as much as we need to. And, so the structure on board I don't see changing a whole lot, but, I think I'll have to develop my style, if you like. It'll have to take a while.
Yes, just in the front here.
Yes, my question may be for all skippers. Do you think, do you like this idea, the foiling boat for the next edition, for the future Volvo Ocean Race? What do you think about it? Who wants to answer it?
We'll take David Witt. You give us a stab at that.
If you're not foiling in the next 10 years, you're dead.
There you go. I think we'll. That means we've got time for one more foiling. We got time for one more. Yes, sir. Down here. We'll just go down here on the right-hand side here. Amy, if you'll just pop round here. Well done. Thank you.
Hi. There's a lot of talk around Catalonia right now and the referendum coming in at the end of the week and all. At a larger side of things, do you see political developments like this affecting the future of, say, boat racing or Volvo Ocean Race? And how does it sort of impact these sort of events? Are sponsors vary? What sort of...
Well, let's take Xavi a tiny bit of politics and then talk about some of the things in this edition that are benefiting the Volvo Ocean Race, the environmental other things. But go for it.
Well, of course, that's interesting moments, let's say, in going on in Spain. But hopefully everything's gonna come back together pretty soon, and it's what everyone wants here in Spain, and can end the other way, so it's going to be all fine, I guess.
And we had the mayor of Alicante at the Ocean Summit 2 days ago, and he's now committed to getting rid of plastic water bottles at some of the political events and rallies that he goes to. Speak to that.
Yeah, of course. I think as, all platforms, they always say they use the sport because we are very visible in the world, but the truth is that probably politicians and governments, they can do much more than us, and it's good that at least they start thinking about it.
Okay, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, with politics, that's fine, thanks, Digby. Right, great. With politics, I think it's time to probably end this press conference, and thank you very much, skippers and media. But before you leave, for the media, there is a in-depth at the Vestas 11th Hour Racing base right now with probably tea and coffee, I'm sure, in definitely paper cups at least, and we will have the skippers just remain here for a moment for a photo call with the trophy, please. Thank you very much.